What do we owe each other when we decide to have a family together? What do we owe those people who didn't get to make that decision, the children? We continue with our conversation. Who is the father later on at the tail end of this bulletin? But right now, let's begin with the stories that are making headlines. This is TV47 Prime. My name is Wakio Mzenge. Our sign language interpreter is Rhoda Nyamai. We want justice. Those were the emotional words of the family of Brian Mzenge, who died under mysterious circumstances while being held at Kiambu police station. Police claim Mzenge died by suicide inside the cells, but his family is strongly contesting the account, alleging foul play and demanding an independent investigation into his death. Stanley Nyaringita reports.
Brian Mzenge's family paces outside the Kiambu police station, trying to come to terms with a kin's death. It is alleged that Mzenge died by suicide on Friday in a police cell after he was arrested over allegations of stealing his neighbor's items, including a MacBook, a gas cylinder, and 2 umbrellas.
In cells, we have mattresses. Unfortunately, this gentleman, now deceased, he used what we suspect to be a mattress cover to hang himself on a rod. Placed above the ventilations.
But to the family, the presence of bloodstains on the 23-year-old's body raises suspicion on the events that led to his death.
Only found him. He was the only person in that cell with 2 mattresses and a 20-liter jerry can that had the top part cut off. So, and then he was on the wall. Had blood stains on his t-shirt and on his trouser.
These people have murdered my brother. They beat him up badly, then hang later.
While holding back her tears, Mzenge's mother, Susan Ombui, narrated that her son was a quiet man who had no intentions of stealing the alleged items.
My son has already his own computer. Hata tumeichukua leo from his house. An umbrella, he cannot take an umbrella. Aliacha umbrellas kwa nyumba na konda zake kwa nyumba inside the house. I don't think hakuwa anatumia gas, anatumia koko jiko, so hakuwa anahitaji any gas. So it was just framing him.
Mzenge's family and the public now await results of investigations led by IPOA and the DCI to lay bare the order of events that led to his death. This comes amid growing concern over mysterious deaths of arrested individuals who are under police custody. Stanley Nyaringita, TV47.
Tonight, a fierce political battle is escalating over the high cost of living as the government and the opposition clash over soaring fuel prices, continuing to strain Kenyan households and businesses. Leaders allied to President William Ruto's administration have defended the government, blaming global oil market shocks while pointing to the president's directive to lower diesel prices by 10 shillings in the upcoming June-July review cycle. But the opposition has dismissed the announced price cut as cosmetic, arguing that excessive taxation and government policy failures are the real cause of the crisis. Here's more.
As the political tensions continue to rise in the country over the increase in fuel prices, some leaders allied to the government have come out to defend President William Ruto.
Tunashukuru serikali ya William Ruto kwa sababu kupitia ile G2G nchi jirani hazina mafuta, lakini sisi angalau tuko na mafuta.
Lakini tutamwambia lazima kwa mbinu yote rais tushirikiane, mafuta irudi bei chini. Vile alifanya wakati aliingia mafuta ikiwa juu, afanye mbinu kama hiyo mafuta irudi chini.
The leaders have strongly criticized leaders in the opposition, accusing them of using the fuel issue to advance their political agenda and attack the government.
So tunataka kuambia wale political scavengers, kina Rigathi Gachagua, tafuteni kitu ingine ya kuongea, acheni na mafuta kwa sababu mnajua mafuta yamepanda kwa sababu gani. Watulize boli. Wale hawana maono, hawana mpango, hawana form.
They have also stated that the fuel prices crisis is a global issue caused by ongoing conflicts involving Iran, the United States, and other nations around the world, with many countries feeling the effects.
Sahi mafuta Amerika ni shilingi 300. Na huko ndio wanajiweza na ndio wako juu. Tunajua nchi nyingi. Ukienda Uganda wana matatizo yao, Tanzania wana matatizo yao.
Wakati kulikuwa kuna vita kati ya Russia na Ukraine, Uhuru alikuja kwa TV akatuambia bei ya mafuta ni kwa sababu ya hiyo vita. Hawakuenda kwa street kumfanyia maandamano. Lakini wanamfanyia William Ruto, ijapokuwa wanajua kabisa sababu bei ya mafuta imepanda ni kwa sababu ya vita vya Iran na watu wa Israeli.
However, opposition leaders led by Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka have sharply criticized the government following the steep rise in fuel prices in the country.
Wakenya hawajui hata kesho itakuwa vipi. Bei ambayo haijawahi kusikika ya mafuta. Na hiyo bei ya mafuta inaandamana na gharama kubwa ya maisha.
William Ruto amefanya wadhifa wa kuongoza urais ukawa ni ambavyo amefanya makosa kidogo, anaona kama ni amepewa nafasi ya kupora nchi.
The leaders have condemned the government-to-government fuel deal, claiming it has contributed to the increase in fuel prices due to corruption and personal interests among some individuals involved in the agreement.
We'll talk to you about the so-called G2G arrangement. Ufisadi mtupu. Na ndio mafuta landed cost hapa inakuwa juu kwa sababu mtu fulani lazima apate commission yake uko Warabuni kabla ya mafuta kuingia Kenya.
The country is currently navigating a fuel prices crisis triggered by major global oil supply shocks and intensified by domestic economic pressure and public unrest. The historic high prices follow a period where diesel spiked to a record 242 shillings per litre before emergency regulatory interventions by the government.
Still on matters fuel, a sharp increase in fuel prices is now pushing Kenya's online taxi industry to the edge, with drivers saying their profits are rapidly shrinking despite spending long hours on the road. And as Munene John reports, many drivers now say they are trapped under a triple burden of expensive fuel, high digital platform deductions they claim exceed the agreed 18%, and passengers increasingly struggling with higher rates.
For most online taxi drivers, every trip now begins with calculations before the engine even starts. Fuel, they say, has become more than just an operating cost. It now determines whether the day ends in profit or loss. Following the recent fuel price review in the country, drivers say the situation has become even more than difficult. They explain that a large portion of their earnings is now spent on fuel alone, leaving very little as profit at the end of the day.
Ukifanya hesabu ya your earnings na whatever you're taking home right now imerudi chini sana. Naona ninaenda loss ya like 1,000 shillings per day from what I was taking home in the past like 2 months.
But fuel is not their only concern. Drivers are also complaining about deductions taken from every trip by the digital hailing hubs, saying they have now gone beyond their agreed 18%, arguing that this has further reduced what they take home after long working hours.
Watakuambia ni 18%. Ukifuatilia utapata zina fluctuate. Hii trip wamekata 25%, ingine 23, ingine 21. Wakiona you are doing keen follow-up that every trip utaona wameiweka to 18.
And as fuel continues to bite into earnings, drivers say they are forced to adjust fares just to stay on the road. But that adjustment is not solving the problem. It is shifting the pressure to passengers, who now say transport costs are becoming unpredictable and increasingly expensive.
Mafuta, maisha, sisi hata kama madereva online tulishaavektiwa kutoka kitambo. Si hatujaanza saa hii. Tuko below kwa vektiwa. Tuko huko chini kabisa, yani hatueleweki tuko wapi.
In response, President William Ruto has today directed relevant authorities to implement agreed measures aimed at cautioning online taxi drivers from unfair deductions and improving order within the sector.
The people in that space sometimes work for 16 hours to be able to make ends meet. There is need for urgent regulations that have already been developed, and I have instructed the ministry to work with the stakeholders to make sure that those regulations are implemented.
And even as the government promises to caution online cab drivers from unfair deductions and rising costs, one question still lingers. After fuel, taxes, commissions, and daily expenses, how much is it really left for the driver at the end of the day? Munene John for TV47, Nairobi.
From fuel to health matters, the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Mary Muthoni, has assured Kenyans that the country has put in place all necessary precautionary measures to prevent the spread of Ebola, even as fears and rumors continue to circulate online. Muthoni maintained that Kenya has not recorded a single case of the disease, urging the public to remain calm while continuing to observe health guidelines. Speaking at SEK Kerugoya Church during Education Day celebrations, Muthoni said the Ministry of Health has intensified surveillance and monitoring systems at all border points, airports and seaports across the country. She added that healthcare workers have been trained on how to respond to and manage any possible Ebola threat should it emerge. The PS also urged Kenyans to maintain high standards of personal hygiene and remain alert against highly contagious diseases.
I want to be very consistent that we do not have any confirmed case of Ebola in Kenya as at now. And that the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with other ministries, we are very keen to ensure that everybody who is coming into the country is screened. But as at now, I want to ask the members of public to remain calm and only use verified information that has been passed through by the Ministry of Health, either by the Minister or the PS, so that we are able to give accurate information.
The People's Renaissance Movement Party, PM, has officially joined the race for the All-Kalau parliamentary by-election after unveiling Timothy Kamau Kariuki as its candidate ahead of the July 16th poll. The party, which is associated with the Linda Mwananchi movement, says it represents a new political wave aimed at challenging established parties and redefining leadership in the country. Party say the PM party seeks to offer Kenyans a fresh generation of leadership, arguing that the country's political landscape has long been dominated by old-style politics. They vowed to mount a strong challenge against parties including the United Democratic Alliance, Jubilee Party and Democracy for the Citizens Party in the hotly contested All-Kalau race.
We unveil today represents a new generation of courageous leadership, educated, energetic, innovative, and deeply connected to the struggles of ordinary Mwananchi. This is not politics as usual. This is the emergence of a new Kenya where leadership is earned through ideas, service, and integrity, not through dynasties, intimidation, or corruption.
And he is going to be the shaker in All-Kalau. I dare you to watch this space. PM Atubahatishi, Timothy, you have the highest assurance from all the party structures that we will walk with you in this journey. And doubt not your capacity.
Manifesto should be legal binding. Like, if you do not deliver 80% of whatever you promised, the IBC disqualify you from vying future election and we hold you accountable because of lying to the city.
Tonight, a political uproar is growing after leaders allied to President William Ruto's UDA party and the United Opposition Alliance condemned remarks by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen and UDA Secretary General Hassan Omar, terming them ethnically divisive and insensitive to the Kikuyu community. The leaders, speaking in different parts of the country, accused the two of ethnic profiling and warned against using tribal politics to address national issues. They also defended the contribution of the Kikuyu community to the country's political history, including the role of retired President Uhuru Kenyatta and founding President Mzenge Jomo Kenyatta.
Divisions have rocked President William Ruto's UDA party after several MPs from the Mount Kenya region criticized Party Secretary General Hassan Omar over remarks they described as profiling the Kikuyu community during the president's tour of the Coast region.
Nataka kuongeresha SG wa chama yetu ya UDA, lazima aheshimu wa Kikuyu. Ni vibaya sana, munanisikiza? SG anatakikana ajue amekalia hiyo kiti ya SG wa chama ya UDA kwa sababu wa Kikuyu walishagua serikali.
Kiambaa MP John Juguna, popularly known as Kawanjiko, castigated Omar in a statement, saying Kenya Kwanza came to power through support from the Kikuyu community alongside other communities Omar now appears to target. While accompanying the president in Mombasa on Wednesday, Omar blamed historical land injustices at the coast on the Kikuyu community, referencing Kenya's founding President Jomo Kenyatta and former President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Vikaragosi wa mahayati waliopita na watoto wao waliotudhulumu, kwa Waislamu waliopotea na watoto waliouliwa kiholela, nyinyi si wa kwenda State House. Wewe na wengine waliokuwa na wewe ni wa kwenda kule Shimo la Tewa kwa zile dhulma walizofanya.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen also came under criticism over remarks linking the fuel pricing crisis to ethnic politics, with opposition leaders led by Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa terming the statements misguided and divisive.
Tunajua kuna wengine wanania mbaya, tukielekea uchaguzi next year wanataka kuprofile tena, kuprofile jamii ya wale ambao walipigania uhuru. We will not allow you to do so. We will not allow you, whoever you are, a misguided cabinet minister, uanze kuprofile a community na kutumia the word profiling in a negative sense.
When you question this, they start ethnicizing the issue and saying, oh, looks like you want to do this because so and so is not from your community. Let us have leadership that will look at the issues.
Opposition leaders now claim the attacks targeting the Kikuyu community are aimed at dividing the country and reviving the 41 against 1 political narrative ahead of the 2027 general election. Apul Kamau, TV47.
Meanwhile, a Kenyan man who traveled to Russia in search of greener pastures only to find himself on the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war has returned home with a chilling story of survival, deception, and desperation. The man, who says he was deployed to active combat zones after a short military training, claims he shot himself in the leg in a daring bid to escape the war. As Faith Wangari reports, his return has once again raised tough questions about the secret recruitment of Kenyans into foreign conflicts.
He went to war, shot himself to escape, and returned home alive, something he says very few who made this same journey can claim.
Mimi sasa nijipiga kwa mguu risasi mbili ndio nikafika hospitali.
Dishon from Kiamashiri village in Kirinyaga County may be the first Kenyan to travel to Russia, fight on the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war, and return home alive.
Kule ni inaitangwa death arena, kule ni kifo tu. Unakanyanga mamaiti huko.
Maina traveled to Russia through an agent 6 months ago. He trained for a month as a soldier before being deployed to the front line.
Mimi nilikuwa najua yenye tu nilikuwa naenda, mimi nilikuwa najua naenda kazi ya military, but mimi venye nilikuwa natarajia, sikuwa natarajia ati nitapata ati kaa kimeumana hivyo.
On the battlefield, he witnessed devastation on a scale few can imagine. Once home, even the simplest things unsettled him.
Mnatolewa kwa training, mnapelekwa kwanza kwa camp nyingine kule kwa border ya Ukraine na Russia. Hapo sasa ndio unapatanga chance yako, wakati yako imefika ya kwenda ya kwenda front. Unaenda front, utamake, unarudi. Kirudi unakaa wiki moja, wiki mbili, bado unarudishwa front.
His escape was made possible by two unlikely heroes, a Kenyan based in Moscow who helped him exchange money and a Russian taxi driver who helped him get out. He arrived home with both his salary and his life.
Mi kusema mambo na maiti, ka president wa Russia anashindangwa kuendea miria hiyo nini inji yake. Ni Kenya tu anaweza saidia ati kulete mwombo ati mwili itoke huko nini alafu ati ileto nini Kenya.
Back in Kiamashiri, his family spent 5 sleepless months hoping for his return. A father of 2, Maina now wants other Kenyans considering the same path that the contracts is a one-way door, and for most, there is never coming back. Faith Wangari, TV47.
Thank you, Faith Wangari, for that story. Now, as the world marks the International Day to End Obstetric Fistula, attention is on the thousands of women suffering in silence from a condition that continues to destroy lives, dignity, and families, caused mainly by prolonged obstructed labor. Obstetric fistula leaves women with uncontrollable leakage of urine or stool, often leading to stigma, isolation, and trauma. But as Suzanne Locho reports, survivors and health advocates are now encouraging women to speak out, seek treatment, and reclaim their lives.
Baby tore my vagina till the rectum. So instead of having 2 organs, I had 1 organ. Hence, now a lot of fat and noisy fat.
She lived with a smell she could not control. A smell that pushed people away.
Niliona nimevunjika moyo sana na nikaambia mzee wangu mimi sijapata usaidizi na sioni hopes. Sasa akaniambia kuja tu tuone.
It's not just the smell. Obstetric fistula is a childbirth injury mostly caused by prolonged obstructed labor without timely medical intervention. The prolonged pressure during labor creates a hole between the birth canal and the bladder or rectum, leaving women leaking urine or stool uncontrollably.
These are fistula that occur during difficult childbirth. So when a woman has difficult labor and childbirth, then they are likely to develop this abnormal communication either between the bladder and the vagina, or between the rectum and the vagina, or both.
It's painful, healing is painful, and of course the same areas that we have to keep using our private parts, yeah? We have to keep urinating, we have to go back to release feces and the like. So of course at that time there's a lot of antibiotics that had to be done because of the infections that come.
For many, the pain goes beyond the body. Some lose their marriages, while others withdraw from society, living in silence and shame.
For me, my experience was not easy because my husband left because of, a lot of smell, foul smell, bedroom haikaliki, all those conversations were there at that time. And even having friends reach out to tell me, whether, to get help, I need to clean and just style up as a new mom.
Miaka mitatu, sasa hiyo ilikuwa miaka mitatu sasa. Hivi sasa ya 4 ndio nikakuja kupona. Yeah.
Health experts say limited access to maternal health care, delayed hospital deliveries, teenage pregnancies and shortages of specialized doctors continue to increase the risk for many women, especially in remote areas. With only about 15 obstetric fistula surgeons in Kenya, serious questions are now emerging over the availability and accessibility of maternal health care for thousands of vulnerable women across the country.
Difficult in the sense that, one, we have very few trained fistula surgeons. I think in the country right now we only have around 15 who are currently.
Now, organizations and health workers are intensifying awareness campaigns, urging women not to hide but to come forward for screening and treatment.
Right, so with my 1.4 million followers online, we try to create awareness on this scam. But for me, what's happening is we've got CHPs. As a government, we've provided for CHPs across the country. There are over 100,000 of them, and they actually manage specific households.
For many women, obstetric fistula takes away not only their health, but also their confidence, dignity, and connection with the society. Yet, for survivors, treatment marks a new journey back to normalcy and a better life of hope. Susan Locho for TV47, Nairobi.
Kenyans seeking specialized reconstructive and cosmetic surgery services may no longer need to travel abroad following the launch of advanced body reconstruction services at a local hospital. The facility says the new services will offer treatment for burn injuries, congenital deformities, accident-related injuries, and cosmetic procedures using modern medical technology. As Sally Davida reports, the move is expected to improve access to specialized healthcare while cutting the cost of overseas treatment.
Slowly, I started getting a little bit of education and knowledge from the conferences in Korea, mixing it with the US, India, Japan, China, South Africa, the UK, France, Switzerland. And I combined all my travels into the avenue: plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, regenerative medicine, longevity, wellness, medical dermatology, cosmetic dermatology, and aesthetics hospital. The first of its kind, not only in Kenya, but also in Africa.
If you look at the World Health Organization, they have actually classified mental health as part of a public health. And you know, if you don't look beautiful, your mental health is not good, isn't it? And we are all beautiful at different areas. I'm beautiful in the face, somebody is beautiful in the tummy, somebody is beautiful in the butt, somebody is beautiful. So your beauty determines your mental health. And it's exciting to work this journey. And I welcome you to Avani. We have everything from head to toe. Mention anything in plastic reconstructive surgery, and we have it.
We are just going to go for a short commercial break. When we return, we have a very heavy conversation on matters DNA with our 3 guests. So don't play too far right now. Let's go for that break, and I'll see you later.
Vibe ni tamu, kila place ni legit jo, alafu korogo ni quick na tasty, anakuma wo una mix nyepesi, no stressing, chaji iwe nyama, smoky, skuma, ingo, homa yai, indojo na mabesti, utamu jo ala, jwani easy na ni tasty, vibe una ni life ni matamu bila stressing. Indomie mautamu, indomie mautamu, indomie mautamu, mautamu, quick and easy, vibe uplifting na flavor mbichi, bei rahisi, ina nice one time ina donjo, acha nikupanga acha kushovile na control. Indomie na flavor, sisi meja kwa bombo, sunda maji ongeza, weka kitu kwa jiko, meka mali kwa sinia unatandaza, mix unachanganya, vibe ni mautamu. Indomie, furahia mlo mtamu.
Safer, stronger, together.
Kisha, empowering women, fueling prosperity through networking, entrepreneurial training, and financial support. Start your Funny Kisha journey with Equity today.
Do you know what's inside that prepackaged food? Those unhealthy ultra-processed foods high in sugar, salt, or unhealthy fats can lead to diseases.
According to the Ministry of Health, approximately 39% of all deaths in Kenya are as a result of non-communicable diseases such as obesity, diabetes, cancer, and high blood pressure. The foods and drinks we consume every day can affect our health more than we realize.
Clear information on packages about what's in our food can help us have a healthy diet. From the Food Policy Coalition Kenya.
Azam TV, your favorite pay TV, just got even better. Effective 1st March 2026, we have added 5 amazing new TV channels to keep you entertained day and night. AMC Movies and Nolly Africa for the best of Nollywood movies and series. Music Box Hits and Music Box Dance for non-stop music hits and dance. And Manchester United TV for football fans. More movies, more music, more sports, all in one place.
Welcome back, and we get sporty right about now. Sprint star Ferdinand Omanyala has made a strong statement on the global stage after returning to winning ways at the 2026 Xiamen Diamond League in China, where he claimed the men's 100 meters title in a season best time of 9.94 seconds. The performance comes just days after his second place finish in Shanghai, signaling a fiercely competitive battle among the world's top sprinters.
To be honest, it was so fun. Got a good start, a good transition into the top end speed, and I feel nice. I feel great. I'm just excited. I mean, it's my second Diamond League win ever, so I have to be excited. And this trip has been very fruitful, and it was just nice to see. That's what we need to bring back to the sport. But just looking forward to more wins in future. We've been having some great times in training, and just keeping it going, because we've had a very nice preseason, and coming into the indoors, we didn't really have a good time, but I'm happy with where we're going now. I'm defending the Commonwealth title, and then later on Ultimate Championships.
Congratulations to Kenya's sprinter. The FKF National Super League title race continued to gather momentum on Saturday after Gucha Stars, Migori Youth and Darajani Gogo registered important wins in their push for promotion. With only a few matches remaining, every point is now proving crucial as teams battle for a place in the top flight. Elsewhere, Nairobi City Stars were held to a goalless draw by MCF FC, while 3K FC and Equity Bank FC also shared the spoils in another stalemate. Following the results, Migori Youth remain top of the table with 71 points ahead of close challengers 3K FC and Mombasa United.
It's been a very tough game. Kunacheza against team iko number 1, and they've had a very good run at home. So it was going to be a tough match, but tulikuwa tunajaribu sana kuona kama tunaweza pata 3 points away so that we minimize the gap between us and wale wako mbele.
We knew how the opponents were playing, we knew how tough so it was going to be, and okay, we did get a win. Also, we didn't lose the match. We just picked the positive on this match and build on it, but there is still on. We're still in it. We'll try and do our level best when we play our next match versus Mombasa.
Thank you so much for staying with us this far. We're going to go for a short break. When we return, we are having a very heavy conversation on who is the father on our segment of Say What?